Cooking bolstered my sense of accomplishment and gave me the confidence to explore new and sometimes dangerous activities. Living and playing around a red-hot stove that sat surrounded by beds taught me to respect and live with fire at a young age. Using heat and flame to cook was a natural progression for me, but kneeling down and reaching underneath an oven to light a gas pilot with a flaming piece of twisted newspaper led to a sharp learning curve. One of many unsupervised incidents resulted in a whoosh of flames that singed my eyelashes and eyebrows. Undaunted, I quickly learned the required timing for turning on the flow of gas and the application of fire to the hissing holes in the metal pipes beneath the oven. One morning, when I was not quite tall enough to stir a pot of sputtering oatmeal, my shirt sleeve caught the handle. Before I knew it, the pot tipped and dumped the hot oatmeal all over my lower legs and feet. My bobby socks alone protected me from serious burns. Another lesson learned. Though admonished not to use the stove without permission, I persisted and had only one other serious episode. My frayed flannel shirt sleeve caught fire this time. I ran the short distance from the kitchen through the middle room screaming, "Fire!" Mama met me as she rose from her perch on the side of her bed, grabbed the collar at the nape of my neck, and yanked off the burning shirt in one sweeping motion. While she examined my arm, I noticed the curtains behind her were burning. Unflappable, she turned, stretched her long, once athletic body across the bed, yanked down the flimsy fabric, threw it to the floor, and stamped out the fire. Slowly, turning back to me and wagging her head in resignation, she warned, "Girl, one day you're gonna burn us out of house and home." Determined by age 8, I had learned to cook fluffy rice and cobblers with flaky pie crust, and I soon perfected the essential cornbread. I knew my cornbread was good when Beverly commanded me, without the slightest hint of sisterly praise, "Make some cornbread for dinner." My oldest sister, Vern, had taught me how to make the golden brown disc of goodness, using only sight and my hands for measuring. I learned to confidently combine 3 heaping handfuls of yellow cornmeal and 1 heaping handful of flour, half a cup palm of salt, a full cup palm of sugar, and the same of baking powder, taking 2 eggs and enough buttermilk to thoroughly moisten all the dry ingredients. Vern was careful to remind me to add the buttermilk in small amounts until the batter was just loose enough to pour, but not runny. She repeated an important rule that Miss Savannah, her godmother, had told her. You can always add more milk, but you can't take it out. I patiently waited for the temperature of the hot iron skillet to transfer to the rendered baking grease that generously covered the bottom of the blackened pan. Mixing half the flavorful hot fat with the barely fluid consistency in the mixing bowl, I then quickly poured my concoction into the skillet. The sizzling edges of the batter that spread along the bottom and up the sides of the hot cast iron formed an immediate perfect crust that filled me with pride. It was the same secret pride of the accomplishment that I felt the day I realized the word yesterday was the first 3-syllable word I spelled correctly in the Friday spelling test. Then I waited as the heat of the iron evaporated the moisture inward and away from the surface of the bread, and the crust rose slightly into a crispy ring of crunch. I know it was ready when a shallow crack in the center of the bread formed as the last steamy moisture escaped like a dying volcano. When I placed a big wedge of my creation on Daddy's plate and announced, "I made cornbread," Mama smiled. Daddy would take a big bite and proclaim, "My baby show can cook."